Honestly, I could just like name one, but one of my favorite memories is right before Schuyler Sisters, me, Pippa, and Renee dancing, lifting each other up, rapping, looking, making sure that we're all good to go. And just we also did we gave each other a big hug for a while and just hyped each other up right before we went out, And we had a lot of pressure because it was a lot of men on stage, and this was like introducing the women. So, we had to come in strong, and, we lifted each other up every time we went out, and it became a ritual. So, that was one of my favorite moments.
The time when I first met the love of my life, who was it wasn't on stage, but it was we were between shows, still at the Public.
I do know that getting a chance to check in with the original company after they were able to see their work was enormously meaningful for me. I made this film to honor what they did, and once we had the opportunity to move this up, and we knew we were going to be able to share it with the world, which was the other thing we've been so desperate to do. How do we give more people access to it? I wanted that company to see it, and now I want the rest of the world to see it. So I hope that speaks to the to how that feels in the twilight of this day, but also how much I'm anticipating July 3rd and July 4th and all the days beyond that for the movie.
Singing to President Obama in the East Room of the White House.
There's too many to pick one, but I will say on a general level, backstage was its own journey every single night. There was what was happening on stage, and then there was like the behind the scenes, the friendships that blossomed, the
relationships,
like there was just so much, and it was so full, and it was such a beautiful group of people to share the Hamilton experience with, that when I'm asked that question, like my mind immediately goes back to just like giggling nonstop backstage with Renee and Jasmine in our dressing room. Those are the moments that were definitely like, it was like a little secret that we had. Like, yes, we're sharing this thing with you and it's for all the world to see, but we did get a little part of it that was like just our own, and it was really special.
The Zitz probe. For all who don't know, a Zitz probe in theater is when the cast sits down and for the first time sings with the entire orchestra. So normally when we rehearse, we have a piano, and then before we go to stage, the cast for the first time, the orchestra, everyone meets and everyone just sits down and sings. There's no blocking in anything. And it just hit me when you asked that. It was just beautiful to hear it all together, meaning the orchestration is such a character in onto itself, to hear the two finally come together. And it was out of this world. And I also remember listening to Pip singing and saying, somehow she's singing over an entire orchestra. I don't know how you were doing it, but you did it, and it was remarkable.
It's hard for me to just pinpoint one particular thing, but I have great memories of being at the White House when we were asked to perform there in 2016, just before Obama had left office. And, I have a memory of seeing Chris Jackson sing One Last Time, singing about teach him how to say goodbye in front of our president, who was about to say goodbye himself not long after. That was just was that 2015? Whatever that was. Anyway,
that was it. It was amazing.
That was just a very special thing to be invited into that room. And again, that very room where we performed the song 6 years prior. And, not every show gets that opportunity to be there. And that's something that I will carry with me for a very long time.
After Satisfied, every show. I absolutely loved the moments where I put some of the stress and anxiety about, kind of being a good enough steward over this amazing opportunity down just to enjoy this cast and to enjoy all of the crazy things that were happening to us all the time. Those were my favorite moments, when I stopped taking myself so seriously and just was silly and laughed and you know, and received the gift, which was this family.
I'm gonna skip to a cabinet meeting, because, you know, Alex and Tommy and Lynn and I were very close friends, and we had our heads blown off when we received the Kennedy Center honor. And one of the funniest things ever was at the pre-show of the show, we were behind the house curtain with Cher and Reba, and the national anthem played. And we weren't supposed to stand up. But then Cher, of course, they had to stand up, and then Cher couldn't get back on her seat with her dress because her dress was so big. And we looked at each other and we were like, who are we? And how did we get to this amazing place? So Hamilton has brought us like such funny, great memories like that we could have never imagined we could have.
Whirled in on the entire story of the show, because the entire story is in that cast album. And I'm looking forward to the echo of that when we give the world this movie that is a document of that time.